In the heart of Yorkshire, our health service is hard at work.
Hello, Barnsley Casualty.
Help him! The shoe at me. Ow, 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 ow.
A dedicated team.
You're strong.
You're the first person to say that. Oh, there we go.
Working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You've run away. I think I've just about got it cracked, this job.
Ready for anything
Don't swear. What are you swearing for?
and everything.
Pretty clear.
I'm getting up at 8 years old.
Well, you're stuck with me now.
Wow.
I know.
Can't tell, boys.
Look at you, look at you. You painful? No.
Facing life
Back from the moon.
and death. Trauma and tears. Supporting each other through the toughest shifts.
I just need the use of a cubicle. I'm not coming home 10 o'clock being warm. Head's a tiny bit. Oh, I love it. It's like champagne. Baptism of fire into Barnsley, isn't it?
This is Barnsley Casualty 24/7.
God bless the NHS.
On shift today, Sister Jane Hawksworth,
16, 17 are full.
Consultant Dr. Joe Stone,
So your heart rate's going very fast, but we won't know exactly what's causing it until we've got the results of your blood test.
and Dr. Tom Hawthorne.
Certainly a little bit more confused.
So, get ready to share a shift
You keep this head still for me. I will.
with the team at Barnsley Casualty. The morning shift is barely underway in Barnsley.
Cubicle 17? Someone in it? Doing what?
The department is already at capacity.
Cubicle 4 is just going by ambulance, so you can go in there.
Sister Jane's battling to reduce waiting times. And not everyone is cooperating.
Right, what's brought you here today, lovey?
Yeah, sure.
Don't swear. What are you swearing for? What drugs have you taken?
You must know you're enough.
The patient's been brought to casualty by police after they arrested him for being drunk and disorderly.
He's effing this and effing that. A lot of patients will come in intoxicated or substance misuse, which does things to people's minds.
Why have they take that come here? You street meal.
You don't need to swear at me. No one accepts bad behaviour, but I think as nurses we perhaps try to de-escalate things rather than fuel them.
But things... Paramedics are bringing in an 86-year-old woman to resus.
Thank you.
Sister Rachel Sheard is taking charge of patient Beryl's care. Beryl's daughter Carol called 999.
She's had a water infection that started in the middle of last week, and she's been put on a course of antibiotics by the doctor. Now when her own carers have come this morning, she's not urinated since yesterday afternoon. Doesn't seem like antibiotic is clearing it up. She's a little confused actually today as well.
Beryl's ECG is just one of the things concerning Sister Rachel.
There's a lot of things going on with Beryl at the moment. We've got Beryl needing oxygen when Beryl doesn't normally need oxygen. And we've also got Beryl's not had a wee for over 24 hours despite drinking litres and litres of water. So until we manage to do what we call a venous blood test, that'll help give a very instant idea of what's going on with Beryl.
To test Beryl's blood, Sister Rachel needs to find a vein.
I think that might be one up there. Sharp scratch. I missed. I think we're going to need a machine to help us find your veins.
If the team can't take blood, they can't give Beryl the potential and life-saving treatment she needs.
So when did you last have a drink?
Yeah, so it's 1 o'clock, 1:30.
In the hub with the department packed, Sister Jane is still dealing with a patient who has drink and drug issues,
Wait, what time did you get arrested? Okay.
while trying to find space for others to be treated.
It's just to let you know, it's just a bit of a heads up really. I've got 78 patients in the department. I'm absolutely rammed down here. I've got over a 4-hour doctor waiting. There is just nowhere to see anybody. So I just wanted to let you know, we're really struggling.
But she has spotted a way to try and make some room.
wait. Currently there's 80 patients in the department and I haven't got capacity for that 80 patients. So if there's any relatives who do not need to be here, could I ask you to just go and either wait in your cars or go home? We can have relatives who stay for patients who have got dementia or learning disabilities. It's currently a 4-hour doctor wait and that is only going to get longer. So if you could just help me out a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. No one moved. Does anybody move? I think they think we're joking.
The pace of today's shift is already relentless. And next, rushed into casualty, is 15-year-old with a seizure at school and blacked out. His school called 999.
So I'll do a set of offers and you'll get an ECG on you as well, alright?
Staff nurse Greg is on hand to help Vinny and his mum, Kerry.
Alright, buddy, I need you to undo your shirt for me, please, if that's okay. You got an hairy chest? If you're medical and you see a child coming in, to you, that's just a standard, ordinary day for you. But to that parent, it could be, and to that child, it could be one of the worst days you've ever had.
A promising young footballer, tomorrow Vinny has a life-changing opportunity with his beloved Barnsley Football Club.
What are you doing this weekend?
I'm for a trial with Barnsley.
Oh, lovely. You're big into your football then. Just support Barnsley then.
Vinny's never had a seizure before, and there are other telltale signs that not all is well.
Who are they playing tomorrow? Derby.
Is it home or away?
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, you see, he's still a little bit confused there because he's only on the ball with that.
Vinny's blood pressure and oxygen levels seem normal, but Nurse Greg needs to check the readings from his heart with Dr. Sophia Yazdani.
Be back in 2 seconds, buddy.
Alright. How is he right now?
Sat up, talking, chatting.
That's fine, we can keep him in and see how he is.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Vinny's ECG hasn't raised any concerns.
I'm just going to keep him in for a while, just for a period of observation, really.
But while Nurse Greg is with another patient, Mum shouts for emergency help.
Have you seen it?
No, we haven't seen it.
Just relax, mate.
Help him!
After being rushed into casualty, 15-year-old Vinny is having another seizure.
Sorry.
Vinny, how is he look?
Vinny?
Are you okay, Vinny?
Are you alright just come in and have a chat with us about what's happened? It's kind of have seizures.
Okay.
No.
Just to see a seizure, it's a horrible thing to witness. There's a lot of jerking, a lot of eye rolling, and everyone running in and rushing in to help him. I can't imagine what the parents are feeling.
What's it been like whilst he's been here? Has he been as normal stuff? Well, in what way?
Just very vacant.
You alright then?
Having made sure Vinny can breathe, Dr. Ellie Sim now needs to work out why he's having seizures. She'll have to send him for a CT scan to find out if there's a problem in his brain.
I just need the use of a telephone for 10 minutes for a doctor to see a patient. This is ridiculous. You can have 100 patients in this department, but you can never stop the patients coming in. I've got 2 or 3 ambulances on the back corridor. A lot of the patients are in the department for a lot longer than 4 hours at the moment. To come onto a shift where there is a 10-hour doctor wait is nothing new. It's frustrating. It's just rammed, isn't it?
Some of the space Sister Jane desperately needs is being taken up by another patient under the influence of drugs.
Is that going? Put your trousers on.
I'm going down.
Well, I can't go nowhere.
Volunteer Jane steps in to take pressure off the medical team, who are busy with the patients.
I have noticed that there's an increase in drug and alcohol-related patients coming through ED department. You sit there. No, not in sink. In chair, the chair that's there. It does happen, unfortunately, and it's happening more and more.
Stop messing now. Sit down. You're messing about. Sit down.
You just wait there, right? He don't know what he's doing. He's probably a perfectly good kid any other time, but... No, yeah, it's clock. Thank you.
In Rhesus, Beryl has been rushed in with symptoms of sepsis, which can be life-threatening, but the cause remains a mystery to Dr. Hawthorne, who's treating her.
Beryl, let's have a quick listen to your heart.
She can't pass water and needs oxygen to breathe.
Let's have a quick look at your alright? I'm going to sort some blood tests out.
It's difficult to get a vein, actually.
Is it?
Dr. Hawthorne needs to do a blood test, but the only way he can find a vein is with an ultrasound machine.
I like the starting from the very beginning with patients and working out exactly why they've come to hospital and what the pathology or illness that they've got and trying to work that out. And it gives you a good opportunity to help people at their worst.
Success at last. Dr. Hawthorne sends Beryl's bloods to the lab, but they won't tell him all he needs to know.
I don't know exactly what's going on with her, but I'm a little bit worried that she's septic. She's certainly a little bit more confused than usual.
Beryl also needs an x-ray, but she's too ill to leave Rhesus, so radiology comes to her.
Breathe in as you can. That's it. Breathe away.
There's definitely something going on.
It's still not clear why Beryl is so poorly. Without more tests, she could deteriorate fast.
Morning, Jill. Morning, love.
In a department as busy as Barnsley's, there's a lot of wear and tear. It often falls to volunteer Jane to pick up the pieces.
Got a load of lovely. Much obliged, Janelle. If you could do it as soon as possible, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, my sweet. Bye. Managed to get through to a state. He's a nice young man, but he's going to give it a job number. Which is, I think, that's what this number is, job number. I've only been here half an hour. We've got chairs that's broke. So hopefully they'll get moved this morning. Hopefully.
In paediatrics, 15-year-old Vinny has had 2 seizures.
Vinny, can I start your please?
Dad Lee has arrived to be with him and Mum Kerry, just as Dr. Sim is sending Vinny to CT.
Now, we need to do a scan of your head just to check what's going on. Do you think you could lie really still for us whilst we do it?
It's important that Vinny has a brain cancer because we don't know what's going on. Parents could be thinking the worst case scenario, like he's got a brain tumour or something like that. When he had his second seizure in the department, it was clear that there was something going on, and I was hoping that it was new epilepsy rather than something sinister growing inside his head.
Just a few hours ago, Vinny was looking forward to a trial with Barnsley Football Club.
Listen, you're just going to have for a scan, and then you're coming back, alright? So I'll see you in a bit.
Now, all thoughts of a career in football are on hold.
Are we doctors down today?
Waiting times on Sister Jane's shift have reached critical levels.
So I've got 6 patients that have been here 10 hours and over, and I've got 3 that have been here for like 6 and 7 hours.
The number of patients in her department keeps growing.
Sit up bed or else they'll send for security again. Sit up bed.
And one of them is still keeping volunteer Jane busy.
Sometimes this can be part and parcel of being a volunteer, especially when the department is as busy as what it is. They can't attend to all others that they need to. But I'm afraid it's a sign of the times. All right, love. Darling, you can't go out today, sweetheart. You can't go out today. I don't think drug and alcohol related patients are coming to ED because we're open 24/7. Sorry,
Back
baby.
in that room.
Right.
In Rhesus, Dr. Hawthorne has the results of a number of tests he's carried out on Beryl.
Her oxygen requirements has gone up a little bit, so she just needs a little bit more oxygen than she was before to keep her saturations where we want them to be. Smart devices to test it.
Beryl's x-ray reveals that a water infection is the least of her problems. A serious issue with her heart.
The scan that she had on her heart before was looking at in your heart, the atria, the top chambers, and the bottom chambers are working fine, they're just not working together. So what she needs ultimately is a pacemaker. I think everything that we're seeing is just from a really inefficient heart rather than anything else that's going on.
And does the pacemaker solve the problem?
Yes.
Perfect.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
It's not the news Carol was expecting.
As long as it can be rectified, that's all that matters. And if pacemakers, that's it. pacemakers in. We'll have to go another 10 years, don't we?
The flow of patients arriving at Casualty is unrelenting. Another emergency case is being brought into resus.
As soon as you can eat, darling, we'll get you something to eat.
All right, thank you.
All right, darling.
Like anyone over 100, Hilda presents a real challenge for the team. She lives alone and fell out of bed.
She had a nightmare in the night when she's rolled out of bed, banging her head and landed on her right shoulder. Been unable to get herself up and was found on the floor at 10 o'clock this morning by her son. And her right shoulder is obviously deformed. You keep this head still for me.
I will.
Ready? Steady and lift.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, I'm Ashley. I'm one of the doctors. I'm going to have a quick feel at your neck to see if you've got any pain, okay?
Dr. Ellie Cook is also treating Hilda today.
It's always quite a challenge to work with elderly people with hearing problems. It feels quite uncomfortable to have to shout at somebody and you feel like you're being rude, and there can be misunderstandings as well.
Look this way for me. See if you can move your neck.
Hilda, look to me. Turn your head.
Look to me. Anything?
It won't go as far, but no.
Can you lift your head up for me?
I don't want to look.
Lift your head up a bit.
Have a look down here. Look at
My
me.
leg. Oh, I always pick my leg up. I don't be tempted.
Hilda, lift your head up. Look at me. That's it. Hello.
I'm impressed. I wouldn't have guessed you what age you are. You look good.
Hilda needs an x-ray on her injured shoulder to check if she's broken any bones. In resus, Beryl is ready to be transferred to the coronary care ward.
I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah? Behave. Well, there's no grief. A little bit clingy, but I mean, I've done a fab job. It's just been a long day.
After 2 weeks in hospital, doctors came to the conclusion that Beryl was too weak to have a pacemaker fitted. She was sent home with medication to be taken care of by Carol and the rest of her family. In radiology, Vinny is having a brain scan to try and diagnose why he's had 2 seizures.
So you just lift yourself back. And you can have a little lie down and hit you.
Radiologist Sean Charlesworth needs Vinny to stay still. Any slight movement and the images of his brain won't be clear enough to read.
Okay, it's going to move now nice and still.
Just completely more present to the side.
Vinny, it's very important you keep nice and still now. This is your big scan. Close your eyes and keep still. Keep your head up. Vinny, turn your head up. Keep your head still. Keep your head still for me. Last bit now, keep nice and still. Don't move, you're doing really well. Keep going. Well done.
You did it. It's your calming voice. I'm holding the rest. Well done.
Dr. Sim hopes the CT scan will reveal why Vinny is having seizures. On Casualty's back corridor, volunteer Jane's made a breakthrough. Her condemned chairs are no more.
Oh, I will keep going on at it until it gets done. I just don't like all this messing about. I just want it doing. Just move the chairs.
In a department where patient numbers are already at breaking point, another emergency is being rushed into resus. 61-year-old Anne was getting ready to go on holiday with her husband when her heart started racing.
So you could feel the palpitation?
Kind of when things went black, but for a second, literally. But then I started to get a pain like in my back.
Consultant Dr. Joe Stone takes over.
Right, I'm just going to examine you, alright, just while we're doing everything else, alright. Just going to have a little listen to your heart. So the normal resting heart rate for an adult is anywhere between 60 and 100 beats per minute.
Anne's heart rate is 190.
If the heart beats that fast, then it can be dangerous. There's potential for you to have a cardiac arrest. Now, Anne, according to the monitors and the ECG, your heart's beating very, very fast, much faster than it ought to be. We need to try and slow that down. If we can get a cannula into one of your veins, we can give you some medicine. Okay. Do you mind if I have a little look for a vein on your right arm? Yeah? When your heart's beating up here... No, Anne, this is not looking... When we can't find a vein, it makes it really tricky to put in a cannula.
Dr. Stone needs to find a vein.
No, Anne, I'm afraid I can't find a vein in that right arm. All right, and got blood.
If she doesn't get medicine fast, Anne's heart could stop.
Oh, Anne, I'm not sure this is in. No.
Casualty is at capacity, but that's not the only problem Sister Jane has to deal with. Since the pandemic, the team has seen a rise in patients with drug and alcohol problems.
Of course, it makes it harder because the department's already at capacity. But I think, he is a patient who needs looking after. Like 2 nurses are following him round, and those 2 nurses have got other patients to look after. It just stretches the resources. The police are quite good, they'll come if we ring them, but I think we tend to support each other. When they are sober people and not on drugs, they can be the nicest, kindest people, but it changes that personality. And at the end of the day, they're here because something has happened to them while they've been under that influence. And you can't hold that against them.
In paediatrics, Vinny is being monitored in the intensive observation unit, following 2 seizures.
Alright. Don't pull that off. Leave it. That's giving you some medicine, that. Yeah. So we need to find out what's wrong with her, so...
Dr. Sim has the results of his brain scan.
So the CT scan was normal, so no sign of anything worrying on that, which is good. And his blood tests will come back as pretty normal, slightly raised white cell count, which could suggest a possible infection. But we would have thought if it was something like meningitis or encephalitis, that it would actually be quite a bit higher.
What may have caused it then?
So we're not sure. It's possible that he has had what's called an epileptic seizure, but it's odd to have 2 in quite quick succession. So at the moment, we don't really know what's caused it, which is why we want to get him around to the Children's Assessment Unit once we're happy that he's stable enough to go around.
Okay.
Vinny's trial with his favourite team will have to be put on hold.
Piece of paper first, I'll get me knacker thing.
In the hub, volunteer Jane is on a mission to find some missing hospital essentials.
Gosh, pillars are like rocking horse poo. That's what pillars are like in hospital. There's people put pillows in the most unusual places. They hide them from me. If they know I'm about. There was some in here, there was some big sacks of pillars in here. I don't know where they go. I'd love to know where they go. We must go through 100 pillars a week. But I know quite a few little hiding places now. So just be aware. I know your secret spots, some on you. I'm going to go up towards, and I'm going to start at top and come down. And see if I can pinch any. If I'm not back in about 3 days' time, you know that the pillars have overwhelmed me.
He'll not get his McDonald's today then, will he?
In paediatrics, it's been a traumatic day for Vinny's mum, Kerry.
I'm hoping it's just a one-off episode. It has no lasting consequences. Just have to wait and see. I'll be staying with Vinny if they'll allow me to stay with him tonight.
With no diagnosis for his seizures, Vinny is being admitted for further observation. He spent 3 nights in hospital and will return for another scan to determine if he has epilepsy. Barnsley Football Club has invited him for a trial next year. In Cubicle 6, the results of 101-year-old Hilda's x-rays are back. Dr. Cook breaks the news to hard of hearing Hilda.
We've had a look at your x-rays.
Yeah, were they alright?
So you've broken your arm just here.
Yeah, I'm feeling tired.
Hilda's Hilda's a very lovely lady. She's quite feisty, and I'm just so impressed by her ongoing independence despite her age. I think it shows quite a lot of spirit that she, after having had her fall, she didn't seem too upset by it.
I'm not Margie. I mean, I don't like pain, but
I don't think you're Margie at all. Relax your arm.
Dr. Cook also needs to check Hilda's blood.
Sharp scratch.
right.
Lovely. You've got amazing veins for a 101-year-old. Incredible. So because she was on the floor for such a long time, we have to check that there's not been any damage done to her kidneys is one thing. We'd look to see that she's not anemic. And then also older people are at more of a risk of falls when they've had something like an infection, so we're just making sure that she's not actually got an infection which caused it in the first place.
The results of Hilda's blood test will reveal if there's any further cause for concern. In resus, 61-year-old Anne's heart rate is still dangerously high.
Just grab another flush, actually, just to make sure that it's flushed in. I just need to make sure it's in the right spot. Is that hurting at all? So we've got a cannula that's working. Can I just grab a dressing? So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some medicine through this vein. Okay, it works very quickly and it can give you a strange sensation. Some people think that it makes them feel quite anxious. It might make you feel more poorly, more unwell than what you feel at the moment. Okay, and we'll be monitoring you on the monitor the whole time. The only chance it might not work is because the vein is a little bit further away than what we would like it to be. Okay. So we just want a 20ml flush and the 6 milligrams. So this is absolutely fine. All right.
You okay, Anne? Nice to see you. Well done, Anne. That's it.
Can you feel it working? So your heart rate when you came in was nearly 190 and it's 103 now, which is good. Okay. Sometimes once the medicine wears off, the heart rate speeds back up again.
For now, the medication seems to be working.
Fingers crossed it stays down. All right.
Seek and you shall find.
Jane's hospital-wide search for pillars has paid off.
1, 2, 3, 5. I've gone alone. I started at the top of the hospital and I've walked down every ward. So there were a lady wanted some over there, weren't there? Let's see if it makes people a bit more comfortable. Sweetheart, stick that out of the way, I've got it. Just lift your head up a little bit and I'll push it a bit further under your neck. How's that? Is that alright, love? Sid. I hate to see people without pillars. We need to make them comfortable.
Hello, guests. Alright? You all look a bit brighter than you did earlier.
In cubicle 6, Hilda's wait for her blood test results is over. They revealed she was dehydrated.
I'm ready for a cup of tea, I know you'll be behind me.
We'll get you.
Sometimes the best medicine is a good old Yorkshire brew.
Oh, I love it.
Refreshed, Hilda was moved to a ward for further observation.
Well, all the best then. I hope that arm gets better.
I hope it does.
In resus, the medication Dr. Stone has given Anne to slow her dangerously high heart rate is working.
Yeah, because the drug wears off fairly quickly.
What could cause this?
We won't know exactly what's causing it until we've got the results of your blood tests, okay? And they've done a couple more ECGs, okay?
Anne's heart rate is now a normal 100 beats per minute.
Oh, that's a much nicer ECG, okay, right. So your heart's back in a normal rhythm now, all right? It's beating much slower than it was before. Have you still got any pain at all, either in the front or the back of your chest? Is that gone as well? Okay. To be honest, I wasn't sure if the medication would work, actually, because normally you need a much bigger cannula, normally a little bit closer to the patient's heart, and sometimes you need to give the drug for a second time, normally doubling the dose. So for it to work on the first time is really good.
Anne was supposed to be going on holiday today with her husband.
Should we give him a ring?
Oh, my dad, they've given some medication to get me heart rate down that's worked, so that's good. So the doctor said it was about 190 when I came in, and it's down to 100 now, so it's a lot better, so I'm feeling better.
But she's not completely free from danger.
I want to keep you on the cardiac monitor for a little bit longer. Your heart rate hasn't quite come down to where I'd like it to be. It's still hovering around 100. So I'd like to keep you in hospital for a little bit longer, if that's all right with you. Okay.
After 8 days of tests in hospital, Anne was eventually discharged with medication to keep her heart rate stable. But she's still waiting for that holiday. The casualty department is stretched to its limits.
Hello.
Another patient has arrived with a serious head injury, suffered while drinking heavily.
Yep, had half a bottle of whiskey today. And then fallen over.
Care support worker Katie is called in.
Staff nurses are obviously dealing with medication, polio patients. We work as a team.
She'll take the pressure off the nurses while the patient waits for a doctor.
My darling.
The department is busy on all fronts, with emergency cases turning up to the paediatric end.
Hello, I'm Richard, I'm one of the doctors. Come this way.
13-year-old Bobby was rushed to casualty in pain, falling and landing awkwardly on his arm.
Let's put this one. Right, son. Come have a seat on the orange chairs for me.
And looking after him today is Registrar Richard Gentles.
Have a seat.
With Bobby is Mum Leanne.
So, what's been going on?
I was walking. There was this little lad walked in front of me, and it was either I went on him or on the floor. My foot kind of went, and then I put my arm out this one to stop myself from falling.
Did you land like this?
This one. Yeah.
Yep.
If Bobby's arm is badly broken, it could affect the blood flow.
Do it, but it hurts a bit.
Can you feel me touching that finger?
Yep.
Can you feel me touching this one? Yep. And that one?
Yep.
And that one?
Yep.
If I just squeeze in your hand, does anything hurt in your hand?
Feels a bit weird, but no.
Feels a bit weird. What if I feel on this side of your wrist?
Yeah, that hurts.
What if I feel on this side?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Feel your pulse under there. Lovely stuff. So, let's get you around for an x-ray and see what it all looks like. You're at a funny age where some of your bones are still quite soft, so they can bend rather than break, but some of them are getting more adult bones, so they can break rather than bend. So let's see what it's done.
Bobby has made a habit of visiting Barnsley Casualty. It's one his mum is keen to end.
We're going to say this is the last one now.
Can't do myself.
No, it's his third time. I had to have surgery.
You have to remind me.
Then you broke your foot.
Yeah.
And then this one you fell over a chair.
I think my arms are had enough.
Dr. Gentles needs to know the extent of any damage to Bobby's arm.
Follow me, I'll show you where to go.
So he's shown straight through to X-ray.
Nice and still there.
As if staff was already stretched to the limit, the patient support worker Katie was treating has gone missing.
You've run away.
The patient has a severe head injury.
He could have a bleed on his brain from his head injury. He had a really big bump. All his belongings are gone, so that's an indication that he not just gone to the toilet. He did say that he didn't want to be in hospital, but I advised him that it's in his best interest to stay.
By leaving Casualty, the patient is putting his health at risk.
Oh, really don't know.
With waiting times in the department still exceeding 8 hours, one patient has decided not to stick around. Already rushed off her feet, care support worker Katie is trying to find him.
Oh, yeah, from him out.
I like to care for people how I'd want my mum and dad to be cared for. I try my best to keep my patients happy. It is rewarding just knowing that you've put 110% into your job, knowing that they've been cared for how they should be cared for.
The problem is, the patient has a serious head wound.
He had a fall, big because he'd absconded. We didn't know where he'd gone. He could have gone out onto the street and collapsed.
Hopefully, police will pick him up. And if he's chosen to go, that's his choice, so don't worry. If I didn't worry, I wouldn't be here, would I? No, I know.
We'll find him. Right, let's try his car.
I reckon in total it might have been there were 5 of us trying to find out where he'd gone, whether he were going to come back, if we could contact his next of kin.
Come in with a bit of an injury and he's left the apartment. Has he turned up back home at all? No.
With a significant head injury, if the patient isn't found, he could be in serious danger. Back in the paediatrics emergency department, Dr. Gentles has the results of Bobby's x-ray.
That should be nice and smooth and shouldn't have that sort of jaggedy across it. So that's a break. And when you look on the other side, instead of being lovely and straight, it's bent and it's got a big step on it. He's broken it. He's broken 2 bones. You know, I was saying your bones are still relatively soft. You've essentially sort of bent and slightly broken both the bones in your forearm. Because you've done both the bones, we need to put you in a pot. That'll be on for about a month, maybe 6 weeks.
So you could just get one, yeah, to get off.
Done it properly.
Thank you.
Alright. Now it's confirmed that Bobby has broken his arm for the 2nd time, staff nurse Molly arrives to put a plaster cast on.
Right then, so first things first, I'm just going to put a little tubey sock on your arm, okay. Right, then got some fluffy stuff, technical terms. Okay. Did it feel nice and warm? Yeah. Thought you might.
Yeah, I've done it in a while.
Not done it. You're becoming a professional, are you?
Yeah.
Right, you need to keep your arm straight for me, sweetheart. Just put your arm up like that, just put your fingers up.
Is it getting harder?
Getting alright? Oh, look at you with your hands still up. You're doing well.
An hour and a half after first being seen, Bobby, complete with cast, is allowed to go home.
Right, home at last.
Excellent, thank you.
No shower. Sorry.
That'll be hard. Well done.
He returned to the fracture clinic 4 weeks later for further treatment and physiotherapy. Back in the hub, care support worker Katie has some welcome news about her missing patient.
After, all the ringing round, turns out his friend had picked him up. They drove off as if his partner would come back with him.
Well, you can get his treatment done and then he can walk, can't he?
It is really frustrating. You've got hundreds of patients coming through these doors per day who need looking after. So as soon as we can locate that one patient, we can then safely move on to another patient.
Back in the department, Katie's patient can get the essential treatment he needs, and the hospital can return to business as usual. As her shift comes to an end, volunteer Jane has ticked almost everything off her to-do list.
Talking. I think I've got that one down to a fine art, quite frankly. Providing drinks. Tick. Sitting with patients and conversing. Does that mean talking again? Tick. Fill up linen drawers. Tick. Water fountains have sufficient supply of cups and juice. Tick. Everything on there, tick. I think I've just about got it cracked, this job. It's only taken me 21 years. I'm going to hand over.
At the end of a testing shift, Sister Jane hands over to the incoming team.
There's about 70 patients in the department. It's a 4.5-hour doctor wait, and that's what's making it slow.
There's still time to raise a smile, intended or not.
Gynae's a bit tight, but it always is, but there is a couple of orthopaedic beds. What are you laughing at? To have a sense of humour in an A&E department is a must. When you've had a really, really rubbish day, you want to have a bit of a laugh before you go home. It's obviously our talent. The wards speak for themselves because everybody's still here doing the same job day in, day out.
Finally, Sister Jane can head home after 10 hours on shift at Barnsley Casualty.
I feel like I've been here 2 years.
next time on Casualty 24/7.
Ow. This pain is horrendous.
Good news or bad news?
Good news.
Bad news, don't talk to me.
The neck's confirmed as broken. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, sorry about that.
Happy birthday. Have you had a cake? I've got 27.
Cards.
That's next Thursday at 9 in new series Casualty 24/7. It's been keeping us gripped for weeks as it all unravelled in the courtroom, but who are the real winners and losers of it all? Don't miss Dead vs. Heard, brand new Saturday at 9. The new ambulance code red.